All right, welcome to Africa and the world's greatest F1 show, F1 Fanatics, coming out of Lagos, Nigeria. Even though Mustafa Janadu, who I am, is in DC, but we're Johnny in Lagos where there's no electricity today, so you have to bear with us. This is going to be a quick one. This is just hating on George Russell today. So after the Mexico Grand Prix, George Russell complained and bitched, being the school prefect he is and the snitch that he is, saying that guys who went wide like Verstappen and co got to get out of jail free just because they didn't get any penalties because they were ahead of him. But those were the rules. And we know that in the past, George Russell has manipulated the rules to his advantage like a psychopath. So for him to be bitching and complaining and saying it's not fair and it's not moral and it's not right is a bunch of BS, because he has always thrown other people under the bus. He's done other people dirty within the rules. So I don't want to hear it from Russell. And let it be known that I think Russell is the second best driver in F1. So nobody can tell me I'm hating on him. But I think his prefect personality, like the school prefect or the snitch, is annoying. Also, his focus on what Verstappen is doing rather than focusing on the race is hurting him. As soon as the first lap happened, he said, Verstappen went wide, you need to get rid of him. At that moment, he shouldn't be thinking about that. He should be focusing on his race, then talk about that later. What are your thoughts in general, Johnny, before I get deeper into this guy, man?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Russell the snitch. You see, seeing how he was even he made the switch over. During the race, he made Antonelli face.
Oh yeah, he got mad about Antonelli.
Yeah, he couldn't. Piastri was all over his back, and he said that he had more pace. And when he couldn't even overtake Antonelli, I don't know why he couldn't. But then, so they switched over. And then, but then
but
again,
I think Antonelli finished ahead of him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because as soon as Piastri overtook Russell, then Antonelli just said, "Okay, let's switch back."
Yeah, I like that. Antonelli it wasn't that he was trying to be aggressive, because he doesn't mind playing second fiddle, but it was clear he had more pace than Russell. You get my point? Yeah.
Because he made it seem like, and Antonelli did not complain, and the deal was like, okay, switch over. If you don't make any grounds, then switch back, And as soon as he saw that there was no grounds made, then he's like, okay, let's switch back, And that's
I hear Russell was furious about that. They said, okay, Russell, if you can pass him, go and pass him now. And this is my argument. Russell's a talented driver, but Russell, remember when he was giving an analysis of why that he said, I think Ferrari is lifting their tires too much. You're in a race and you're analyzing everybody, listening to the radio, what everybody's doing. He's almost like a spy or a snitch who wants to know what everybody's doing, but it's not going to give him performance. So I think he's focused on too many people. He needs to be like remember Kimi Räikkönen? Just drive your fucking car and tell the guy on the radio, shut up, I know what I'm doing. He needs to focus more on racing than on what everybody is doing and what isn't fair, because ultimately it's his fault, and Antonelli had better pace than him. But meanwhile, after the race, he's talking about, oh, it's not fair that everybody beat me. We know that F1 isn't fair, and I like what Verstappen said. They said George Russell said that it's not fair. You know what Verstappen said? He said, not my problem, and I like it. Now let's go back to their history. George Russell this year he brake tested Verstappen and got away with it. And I remember when Verstappen had a lot of points against him after George Russell qualified ahead of Verstappen, he basically said, I can cause if anything happens to Verstappen into the first corner, he'll lose races. I can cause him to get disqualified from F1. The guy is dirty. He's dirty. But what makes me annoyed is that he's dirty, but at the same time, like, Schumacher was dirty, Senna was dirty, Verstappen is dirty sometimes. But he's dirty, but at the same time, he puts himself as the prefect who's a good boy. That's what I don't like. What do you think, Mr. Johnny?
That's exactly, my add to it that, what you said, and then again, and he hasn't done anything. He hasn't won anything, Yeah, that's why. And then he behaves like as if, he's really something, but he's really nothing yet.
He hasn't won a championship. He hasn't run a championship.
Done anything, and then opening his mouth like, you don't see others doing that. Nobody. No, you don't see Sainz doing that. You don't see maybe even Colapinto. I mean, all these people. I mean, the rest of them, you don't see.
Leclerc is considered to be other than Russell.
Yeah. But Russell just keeps making his noise. You think that he's won like 2 or 3 Grand Prix, champions, but you look around, but he's done nothing, and then making noise like
And
like
and
yeah,
and after every race, he's always talking about a team. He said, "Oh, I know what Ferrari's doing. They're pumping up their tires so they can." He wasn't saying they're cheating, but why are you? You know more about the Ferrari car than you know about your own car. I've never heard him say what the problem with the Mercedes car is. He's always talking about
yeah,
what the problem with other people's car. So you know what it is? There's a word they call it in America, Black Americans. They say he's signifying. Signifying is when adults are sitting and you're listening to what they say, not because you want to know what they're talking about. No, focus on your car, focus on your team. That's why he had to hide the fact that he got a big contract, but it's not a multi-year contract. It's probably a 1+1. You understand? It's
yeah.
because
Hmm.
they, Verstappen. You don't hear Verstappen talking about what other drivers do. Verstappen talks about his car. This is how I respect Verstappen. Day one in this competition, he said it feels like my tires are skating on ice. He at the Verstappen knows the car and he can predict how his in pre-practice one, Verstappen can tell you that there's no chance I can win on Sunday. He can say it on Friday. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's minding his own business, giving feedback to his drivers. And also, we have to say that Verstappen knew that he could come Q2 or P1 or P2 in qualifying, but he told his team to make him slower in qualifying so he can have better race pace. This is what George Russell needs to be focusing on. George Russell is a politician. He wants to join the drivers union. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. And like you said, what are you here for? Are you here to win a championship, or are you here to be the prefect and to be the hard worker and to say, "Oh, I did the moral things," when in fact you're immoral? What are your last thoughts, Mr. Johnny?
Yeah, man, like Verstappen, he knew that a podium finish was possible with that car. That's why
Yeah,
he give those, like he knew either going to be it could have been first, second, or third, but mainly second. Yeah, I'm sure he was heading for second, and he could have come
yeah,
second if not for the
cheating.
virtual safety
Yeah, I call
car.
that cheating. And I still think that Science
Yes.
did that on purpose. Mercedes told Science to do that also. I'm just joking. But go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember
So
when
that's
Lewis Hamilton won his first championship? Who was it that their car slowed down in the rain and helped them beat Massa? That was it Tino Glock or somebody? Their car in the rain, they started and they helped Lewis Hamilton pass. They remember that in the last race in Brazil. That was Lewis Hamilton's first championship for McLaren.
yes,
Something
I
happened.
remember
Somebody slowed down on purpose, but I think it was
somebody.
not Tino Glock.
Yes.
But anyway, those ones are small issues. But go back to what you said. Did you see how happy Verstappen was after he came P3? Because he knew he dodged a bullet. He could have easily come
Yeah,
P5 or P6, you know.
and
And
that
now we're
was
going
keeping
down to
him
the end
in
of
the
the year
title race.
in the title race. Verstappen has had a great year. But yeah, we'll go back to Russell very quickly. He's just a hypocrite. We know that
Yeah,
there was a time where he saw Verstappen driving slow, so he sped up. And he made it look like he almost hit Verstappen and got Verstappen penalized. I think it was in Qatar last year, so that Verstappen lost his pole position. His radio people had already told him watch out for Verstappen because Verstappen's not on a hot lap. But he sped up to make it look like there could be a collision. Then he got Verstappen just put down by one place, P2 instead of P1. And that's where Verstappen said, I'm going to drive you into the wall and beat him. So what I'm saying is that also George Russell manipulates the rules. But when it doesn't go
yeah,
his way, he's that. And I think he's just embarrassed because Kimi Antonelli beat him. And to be honest with you, even though they're saying George Russell has had a good season, doesn't it seem like he's been distracted this year, maybe because of his contract and other things? What do you think about that?
well, distracted for sure with his gossiping and eavesdropping and amebo
Amebo.
attitude. Of course,
For all you people who don't know,
that's
Amebo is a word within Nigeria, within the Yoruba, which means basically looking to other people's businesses and telling on them rather than focusing on your own shit, man. Go ahead,
amebo is
sorry.
also another word for snitch as well. Can call
Snitch,
amebo
yeah,
snitch.
yeah.
Yes. So that's it for me with Russell,
Teacher,
man.
I saw Moose. Teacher earlier today. Moose was cheating on his homework with his friends. Then they go tell the teacher like you have something invested in it. Go ahead, yeah.
Yo.
We know that George Russell cheats. We know that F1 is cheating. All of them cheat. All of them cheat. So come on, man. Watch out
Yeah.
for that guy because he's two faced. All right. Any last thoughts, Mr. Johnny, before we head out?
Last thoughts.
Drink some wine,
Ah,
some rugby. All right. No
nothing.
electricity on your side, man. We'll see how it's
Yeah, it's all
you
Canada.
F1 guys watching our show. You have to support our show so we can. We're doing a good job. We're not living the life like you guys in Europe that got this HD TV and 24 hours electricity and everything. But yeah, but so we'll be back. What are your thoughts about the upcoming race? What do you think is going to happen in Las Vegas? I think it's going to be a close race. I think this thing is going to come down to the wire. What do you think?
Wow, Las Vegas. As they say, well, I always hear whatever they say that in
Days
whatever
about
happens in. So whatever's going to happen in Las Vegas is going to dwell. Well, that's like the second time. It's like it's Las Vegas track. It's going to be a second time or third time, right?
Yeah, I think it's the third time. Yeah, third time.
Yes, because that's one track that I don't really have in my memory.
I think Mercedes, they do well, and it might be cool because it's a night race in the desert, but it might be cool weather. So I think that's going to help other teams against McLaren. Hey, but we'll end on this one, Mr. Johnny. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. No, it won't, because George Russell will tell everybody what happened.
Yeah.
All right. So we're here. I'll see you later on. I'll send you the information for the thumbnail. Thanks. Very good show.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yo.
All right.
Bye.